Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. Thanks so much for dropping by. And when I say divine creation, divine marvel, children of God, what I mean is that you are as glorious and beautiful as that. Let's see, let me get my finger right there. You go. Or also that beautiful stream of light just flowing through the window. Because according to Bruno Groening and many, in fact, I'm just going to scoot over and let that, look at that beautiful stream of light. According to Bruno Groening and so many other traditions and teachers, we're not a body. We're a soul that's glorious, like this light, like that light. Look at that. Oh, that's cool. That we are and there is a much greater reality than what we normally see with our physical eyes. And more importantly, than just this abstract idea of like, oh, there are other realities, but really coming to know our nature, who and what we are, and that we are these glorious divine beings that are temporarily been given a body to learn and grow and have wonderful experiences. So let's spend a little time tapping into this divine energy that Bruno spoke of. And I'm guessing this divine energy looks something like this beautiful stream of light here. So let's spend a moment. Close your eyes, come into the present, letting go of what's already happened today, letting go of our plans for the future. Coming into the here and now and asking our dear friend Bruno, our brother and friend Jesus, to help us take in this good divine life energy. And observe your body, having the will, the intention to take this energy in. Taking in the goodness. Being firm with any negative thoughts, not taking them in. So, on the surface, what we're doing is this spiritual practice of taking in divine life energy. And what if the fact that it's a practice actually indicates how far out of sync human beings have come from God and nature? Of course, when I learned about this, I was shocked. Like, I can absorb this energy, and like it was a radically new idea. Like, sure, I'd heard of spiritual energy, but I could just sit and absorb it. What I've come to realize is that this practice is completely natural. It's not really a practice. It's what is natural. It's only a practice because we human beings, we as individuals and the human family has moved so far away from what's natural. And normally we think of natural as like nature. I don't know if you can see the trees out there or not. Like trees and mountains and oceans. Oh yeah, you can. You've got a good view of. You got a good view of some trees there, but and that's partially what I mean, right? When something good happens, it's natural to smile. And when someone gives us a gift, it's natural to feel gratitude. Natural means just what comes naturally. Like things just operating in their operating doesn't even sound right. Things just moving in the way that's harmonious and effortless and spontaneous and healthy. And so Bruno Groening spoke about nature a lot, like actual nature, but he also spoke about what's natural. He said, I've come to restore the natural human instinct. Now that's an interesting statement. The natural human instinct. He once gave an example of a newborn child naturally moves towards the breast and naturally knows how to take milk. He said the child didn't learn that. He didn't read a book or she didn't go to a class. It's natural is like what's so a part of our being that it's just natural. I'm struggling for words. It's hard to put to words, fundamental, primordial, like breathing. Here's another way, what we take for granted. Someone gives you something nice, you just feel happy and grateful. It's just, you don't think about it, it just happens. Well, the further I go on this teaching, the more I feel that this practice of Einstein is actually, meaning tuning in, is actually just what's natural. It's natural for us to be connected to God. And it's natural for us to be absorbing life energy for this body. But because we've been so miseducated, because we as individuals, and again, this culture has moved so far away from nature, it feels like a practice. We as human beings don't have to practice breathing. It just comes. Certainly, there are practices to deepen your breathing or improve your breathing or using your breath to still your mind, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about taking in oxygen. It just comes. It just happens. And I'm convinced that that is the way we're designed, is to just take this energy in. Said another way, a person who is not covered over by artificiality and wrong beliefs and evil of various types would just naturally and probably with very little effort tune in all day long. So let's drop into silence a little and continue to take in this goodness, having the intention that this energy remove everything that blocks us from our nature, from our soul, from connection to God. It can be quite a leap of faith to believe that as human beings, us as individuals, but every human being has a pure sacred essence inside of them. You know, we're used to looking at bodies and we're used to looking at, people just, we're used to not seeing the divinity. not seeing the perfection. To be a little more accurate, we've been habituated. I mean, in the Western world, to even say that God lives inside of us, to many people would seem like absolute blasphemy. That idea is so radical to the, modern Western way of thinking. And so it's not something that we can really think ourselves into realizing. And interesting enough, through the practice of tuning in, this idea that God lives inside of me, and as Bruno said, the human being is and remains divine, has become more and more real to me. And it's not so much something up in my head, but it's more a felt sense. Like God is closer than close. And also this idea that God is everywhere and in everything. So it's a really cool idea. And I don't want to say goal, but the goal is to actually experience it. And for me, some days it's clearer than others. Nature really helps. Being in physical, actual nature. It's very easy to feel the presence of God there. So let's listen, as Bruno said, listen deeply inside yourself. And observe your body. And Bruno said, if you observe your body, the truth will reveal itself inside of you. Bruno Groening said of himself, "I am small," referring to his height. He was not a very tall, he was a shorter than average, physically shorter than average man. He said, "I am small, but my heart is pure, and only God lives there." That's a radical statement that someone has, really, in essence, a pure heart, a completely pure heart. You don't meet that so often. We certainly meet people with a good heart, but a heart that only has God in it. Nothing else, no other attachments, no other. And it seems it's hard to fathom with the mind. But what if that is what's natural? To have a heart that's just filled with God and nothing else. Bruno even implied as much, and I'll paraphrase here. He said, "I get up on the stage once again and mirror out for you how your life was supposed to be lived." That's a paraphrase, but it's reasonably accurate. And so here's a quote of Bruno's. "Whoever has neglected himself," meaning who has neglected his own body, he has neglected God. He no longer carries God in his heart. He simply can no longer believe. So Bruno is very firm that care of the body is an act of divine service, and that this body was a gift. You know, if someone you love gives you something precious, you cherish it. I had a very dear friend who gave me something, and sadly, that friendship kind of ended on a sour note. I'm confident it will heal, but she gave me something, and even though it ended on a very painful, to be honest, a very painful note, I can't give away the thing she gave me because it is a gift from someone who is very dear to me. And so it's a very radical shift to be, wow, this is a gift from God. This body is an actual gift from someone who's more than precious to us, from that which gave us our very existence, gave us our soul, and then gave us this present. So what does Bruno mean by care of the body? Well, certainly there's many wonderful things like eating well and exercise and so forth and so on. And I don't believe Bruno was opposed to any of those things, but primarily what he's talking about is taking in this energy. That's the fundamental way of caring for the body. In essence, letting God care for the body, letting the energy of God. But our part is to seek the energy. So let's reflect on that a little. going to begin closing. So in closing, the short version of this video is that's what you look like on the inside. That beautiful light. That's our nature. That's who and what we are underneath it all. And this practice of tuning in is, in essence, nothing more than just removing the things that cover that. And any, I'll say, good spiritual practice is nothing more than removing the obstructions or obscurations to that goodness. So let's take a moment and really ask for this day that we be guided. Let's ask for anyone near or dear to our hearts. Any particular life situations. One moment. Just had an unexpected guest. My apologies. For any life situations, for any relationships. And what I would argue most importantly, that we be connected to God more and more, and we want connection with God more and more, and that we be guided by God, and we want that guidance, and we seek it more and more. Thank you so much for joining in. I wish everyone a beautiful, beautiful, God-filled and God-guided day. Take care. Much love.